people. Joel Kiryungi, BBC News, Addis Ababa.
Now, earlier on, I spoke with Kalkasa, who is the founder and educator at Bitcoin Bear, based in Ethiopia. And I started by asking him about the uptake of the digital currency in the country and around the region.
About 27 companies have now entered Ethiopia to mine Bitcoin. Many of these companies are operational, and Ethiopian Electric Power has generated $220 million last year selling electricity to these Bitcoin miners. It requires a great deal of capital. A lot of these miners are spending upwards of $5, $10, sometimes $50 million on one facility. They're buying 10, sometimes 50,000 machines, or Bitcoin miners, we call them. But if you're able to secure electricity at an attractive rate, in Ethiopia, that means 3.2 cents kilowatt hour, then it could be a very lucrative opportunity.
Why is it that more than 20 companies have invested in Bitcoin, specifically in Ethiopia? These
past few weeks, the Ethiopian Investment Commission has actually said no more business licenses until we understand the supply. And they might also, I think, roll back a few business licenses. And so from my personal point of view, I think this will be a great way to capitalize the growth that Ethiopian Electric Power needs in its construction of not only the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which is a $5 billion investment, but what's next, which is the Koisha hydropower project, which is currently eating 50% of Ethiopian Electric Power's revenue.
Now, if we look at crypto miners, they were a major contribution to Ethiopia's power export. But what will it translate to the people who have not been connected to the grid? How long will they be able to wait before they are connected to power?
Well, it depends, right? So if you're living in an urban area, you probably have a connection point. If you're living in a rural area, maybe not, right? Because there's 190 substations. And as per our growing population, if we're all to enter the middle class, if we're all to buy a water heater and appliances that make life worth living in the developing era, then we're going to need much more of that infrastructure. And so this revenue will allow Ethiopian Electric Power to invest into more of these, let's call them infrastructure and hardware necessary for our population. But also, I think Ethiopian Electric Power and maybe other entities might also consider off-grid as a potential solution. So not everything needs to be connected to the substations and to the power stations and to the national network. You can have many off-grid solutions. And so we can connect in the next 50 million or 60 million people in Ethiopia using creative, let's call it geothermal and solar and hydro that is maybe built in parallel to the existing network.
What does it take to invest in Bitcoin?
I believe 5% of the Bitcoin network is being secured in Ethiopia, which means 5% of that $300,000 or $400,000 pool of rewards every 10 minutes is going to a miner in Ethiopia. And so I think that's significant. That's allowing us to leapfrog into more power stations, more substations and transmission lines so that 50% of the population that currently doesn't have electricity can have some access to it.